Hey guys, my name is Richard Henson and welcome to my first video in a series on performing upright frame drum. I have a lot of information that I'd like to share in this video, so for time's sake, I'd like to just jump right in. So the first thing that we need to cover when talking about performing on this instrument is the grip, or how to hold the instrument. So before I start that, I'd preface with this. I play right-handed, so if you would like to perform left-handed, then just flip everything that I say. If I say right hand, think left. If I say left hand, then I need you to think right. Okay. So we hold the instrument in our non-dominant hand. Since I play right-handed, that's going to be my left hand. So what I'm going to need you to do is think about making a C shape with your hand, like so. Then turn it so that the palm is up, thumb to the body, fingers away from you. If you have an instrument like this one and there's a cutout, or maybe you have a thumb hole, that part of the drum is going to be the bottom. That's where we're going to put in our hand. So if you have a thumb hole, go ahead and slide your thumb through there. If not, go ahead and rest your hand there so the thumb is going through the slit in the back. We're looking like this right here. Fingers straight forward. Now what I want you to do is tilt your hand down until the ring finger is at the edge of the drum and the thumb goes with it. This is important. A lot of people in the beginning want to try to grab the inside of the frame, the shell of the drum. Let's make sure that we're not doing that. Let's keep that thumb nice and relaxed and pointed up. And we look like this, and we're going to take our right hand and find like the 3 o'clock position on a clock. Put our thumb on the side right here. And in the left hand, make sure that you get those fingers off of the drum. Now, another thing that I like to tell students or anyone that I'm teaching or working with is I rest the front of the drum, the rim of the drum, between where the finger meets the hand and this first knuckle. So somewhere in right here is about where I rest that part of the drum. So if you can see here in the video, there's a gap right here in my hand. So if I'm holding it there, there should be a space there. Make sure that your hand is not flat across that drum. Makes it a little uncomfortable, and it's going to make it really difficult when we actually start making tones on the instrument. So we have our grip here. Also, I like to think about having the drum lean toward my dominant hand, toward my right hand, leaning in on that thumb, kind of distribute some of the weight, and forward just slightly. Just trying to find the balance. This is one of the most difficult parts in the beginning, is understanding what it feels like to hold this instrument. I always think about the first time I held 4 mallets and how uncomfortable it was to hold 2 implements in my hand. This drum can be very much like that. The more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. So just keep holding the drum and playing it, and it'll become more comfortable to you. So that covers our grip. Again, make sure the thumb is relaxed, and make sure these front 4 fingers right here in the left hand and your non-dominant hand are not muting the drum. That's not going to be good for us. So we have 3 main tones when we play this instrument. We have a low tone, we have a high tone, and we have a mid tone, or also can be called a muted tone. So our low tone is the one we're going to learn first, and that's called doom. Okay, and this tone is going to be played in both hands on the ring fingers. All right, so we'll go back to our grip. Now, when I think about playing this, I'm thinking about reaching in toward the instrument. I'm not really getting to the middle, but I am thinking about reaching in toward there, because we don't want to be too close to the edge. That's a different tone and be a bad sound, and just puts our hand in an awkward position. So be nice and relaxed. That thumb is there. Also, we want to think about getting a wrist motion when we're playing this. I think that there's a misconception when playing this instrument that everything is done with the fingers all the time, and that's not true. So slowly here, I'm going to pivot off of this thumb. The thumb stays on the shell. Make sure that you're not letting it slide up or down, and don't end up in a position like this, but lean here, put that weight there to kind of help with that. And there. We're getting a nice rebound off this ring finger, so there's a doom. Nice quick pivot of the wrist and a nice rebound. And in the left hand, so we're going to move from this position, we're going to move our hand up again, reaching in just like on the right hand. And in the left hand as well, I like to think a nice wrist motion, again playing with the ring finger. So doom in the left hand. Okay, and that's our doom. The next tone that we're going to talk about is talk. This is our high sound. So we've been in this position right here. So back to the left hand as before. Let's move that ring finger back down to the edge. And in the right hand, we're going to come to the edge as well. Again, with the ring finger, just like doom. And again, like the doom, a wrist motion. So I'm going to pivot off of this thumb in the right hand and strike on the rim. And in the left hand, I'm going to pivot. There's more finger involved. I'm still pivoting from the wrist as much as I can, but in the left hand, because of the nature of the way we're holding the instrument, there is more finger movement involved. So our talk, our high sound. And in the left hand. And then our third tone is called ka. This is our muted tone or our mid tone. And unlike the doom and the talk, we're actually going to use all four of these fingers. Now, what I don't want you to think about is using the fingertips. We're going to strike it with the pads. The pads. This part of our finger. Not the whole hand and not the fingertips, but just the pads. And the same as before, though, I want you to think about getting that wrist motion, and like doom, I want you to reach into the drum. And go ahead and dig in. Get a big sound. It's a stroke. It needs to be heard. Or a tone. And then the left hand. It is a dead stroke. You are going to strike and leave it there. And those are the three main tones, the doom, the talk, and the ka. Now, I highly recommend that you stop right here. Especially if you're a beginner, you're probably still struggling on holding the instrument in this position, in this upright position. This probably feels uncomfortable for you. Your hands, probably your right hand especially, is probably moving up and down the shell, or you feel like you're going to drop the instrument. And it's okay. This is normal in the beginning. Again, like holding four mallets. That felt super uncomfortable and unnatural, and you've never done anything like this. Sometimes in my clinics, I talk about if you've ever played guitar, trying to hold your left hand in this position, that can be awkward for us here as well. Now, we have the advantage of having a little bit of a tilt and not having to be so much like this, but the idea is still the same. So let's talk about a couple of exercises that we can use to help develop this. So if you've had any experience at all in the marching arts or in drumline, then you understand what I'm going to say here. You can think of just playing eights. Just playing 8 tones. 8 on a hand. So if we're working on doom, you can do it with 16, you can do it with 8. Whatever, just play a lot of them individually in the hand and just developing the sound. So if we're just going to do 8 on a hand, we're just going to do dooms here. So 1, 2, ready, and now, in the beginning, you may get some really bad sounds. It may feel really awkward, and that's okay. You just keep going for it. Some of you are probably going to get this sound where the finger sticks to the head because you've not figured out quite yet where that rebound is at. I promise you, if you just keep trying to do it, it will happen. Spend a lot of time. You're going to get some bad ones. Whenever you get a good one, stop and hit record. Know what that feels like. Know what that sounds like. How did it feel when that finger popped off that head that way? And then the same for the ka and for the talk. Separate them individually. Once you feel like you're comfortable playing these individually, just doing some 8s or some 16s on a hand, do the same exercise but go through all 3 tones and don't stop. So for instance, we're going to go Doom 8 on a hand, and then Tak 8 on a hand, and then Ka 8 on a hand. 1, 2, ready, and then you can cycle back through. I also recommend mixing that up. Don't just do a Doom and a Tak and a Ka. Like start on Ka or start on Tak, or go Doom to Ka to Tak, or any variation of that. And just do that a whole lot. And we're working on a lot of things doing this. We're getting used to figuring out the balance of the drum, how to hold this grip, and we're developing the tones. And we're also developing the coordination to move through these tones, which is what we're going to need in future videos and future lessons. That's really it. That can get you started. You have your grip. Make sure that the thumb stays relaxed. Make sure that the fingers stay off the head of the drum. Make sure that when you're making your tones, that you're using as much of the wrist as possible and not just trying to rely on the finger strength. And just make sure that you're getting good rebounds and know what a good tone is. Come back to this video. These exercises are really simple. It's not rocket science. It doesn't take much. This is really simple to get started down this path. I hope that this video was helpful and informative in some ways. If you have any questions, please leave some questions in the comments. Please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. Again, if you leave a question, I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.